I think it was pretty clear in Cars 1 that Lightning McQueen should have never, ever fired his pit crew. But the one upside to it is that he got the best pit crew ever at the end of the first Cars movie when all of the Radiator Springs townsfolk came together and joined his team. And what a team they made, because, well, he didn't win the race, but he definitely would have if he wanted to. He decided to not win on his own terms because obviously he realized that helping the king was much more important than winning. But let's get back to the pit crew, because there is something about this pit crew that has always just seemed a little bit confusing to me. Like, I understand most of their roles, okay? Like, obviously, Doc Hudson, he is obviously the crew chief, of course. He's on the stand and everything. He's telling McQueen what to do and speaking to him through the headset. Mater, even though this isn't Mater with sign, I'll be opening him soon. He, obviously, in the movie, holds a sign. Guido, he changes the tires, and Luigi, I guess, kind of helps him. And then Fillmore, he obviously gives McQueen gas. But what in the world does Mr. Sarge here do? Because I have never, ever been able to wrap my head around it. He has this tiny little red thing, which I've always kind of just called either a red thingy, or if I'm talking to someone that's not just, a close family or friend, then I would probably say like a toolbox type of thing. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's a red thingy, okay? But now I finally know what it is. I can finally tell you guys what it is. It's actually called a catch can, and Sarge is the catch can man. Yeah, after all these years, I bet you didn't know that. Maybe you did. If you did, well, I guess this doesn't really seem as substantial to you, but I feel like almost every Cars fan in the world has probably never known what that thing is, and it's probably just drove them crazy all these years. And now, well, now we finally know. Now we can finally put it to rest. Sarge is the catch can man, and we'll talk more about that later. But for now, welcome on back to the Cars Garage, everybody. This is Sarge. He has just came back for a brand new year, 2025. He's in case R this year, and luckily he's in the half count case, so I was able to get him. It's a pretty good case. There's some other good cars in it. Unfortunately, they don't show them on the back. But I just wanted to show you Christina Whelan. I think the other ones are in this case too, though they're not too bad. But yeah, Christina Whelan's nice, brand new Thailand variant. I have her right here. Now, she's very dark, very metallic looking, so I don't know. If you want to check out my review on her, then please do. But yeah, case R is pretty good. Obviously, there's lots of things that are better in the full version that aren't in the half version, like Cho. And I believe there's something else really cool that I'm just blanking out on right now, but maybe not. But Cho is a nice one. I guess it is just Cho. It's not the best case in the world. But yeah, Cho is nice. Or no, not Cho, Kyandy. Yeah, it was Kyandy. But yeah, pretty cool. This is pit crew member Sarge. Unfortunately, or I don't really know if it's unfortunate or not, because I guess this way, we just have less other languages on here, I guess. I don't know, less translations. But they're just calling him pit crew Sarge instead of pit crew member Sarge. I don't know why, but this guy's only been released a few times before. Really not, he hasn't had that many releases. 2010, Final Lap Series, that was his first release. They did him as a lenticular that year. Is, I think, in a 3-pack and as a single. And then they did him in 2015 as a single, and that was it. That was it for Pit Crew Sarge. So he's back now 10 years later, a whole decade he waited to get re-released. And I'm happy about it because, they don't really release a lot of Sarge variants. They sometimes do the Christmas one, and then they just usually do the regular one almost every year, but not every year. And I don't know. I feel like he's kind of a boring one to me. Sometimes they switch up his artwork and it looks better, but a lot of times he's just one that, I don't know, I usually leave on the pegs, to be honest, after I picked one up on the new packaging. But anyways, on the back, as seen in Cars, we got Floyd Mulvihill, Jonathan Wrenchworth, who's also in the case. I think they all are, except for, Hydraulic Ramon. I think he's in the full version, but he's not in the half one. Donna Pitts, Chuck Armstrong with the wrong body, and then Lightning McQueen with the rusty sign. So yeah, not much more to talk about with Sarge in the package. So without any further ado, let's bust him open, and then we can, take a look at where he appears at in the movie and talk more about his role on the team, because I know that's what you guys came here for. All right, so what is a catch can man? That's what you all came here for, I'm sure. Well, a catch can man refers to the guy on the pit crew that essentially kind of like just goes in to the fuel tank and kind of tries to filter out it, make sure there's no like fuel spilling out. And if there's any excess fuel, then this little tool, the little red thingy, of course, that Sarge has, it will like, I guess, put the fuel inside there, store it in there, so that way it doesn't, get all over the car and the ground and, well, could potentially be a fire hazard. So it's a really good thing. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, they don't really need them anymore. Unfortunately for Sarge, but I guess fortunately for real life pit crews, because just an extra guy, I guess not really necessary. But yeah, they don't really need them anymore in modern day NASCAR, and I don't think they have for about the last 15 or so years. But I don't know exactly when they stopped using catch can men. But they did used to use them. I saw this video of a real NASCAR race, and there was a catch can man, so pretty cool. So yeah, they're really just there to kind of, clean up any excess fuel so it doesn't spill on the ground, doesn't spill on the car, doesn't like overflow out of the tank. Anyways, though, yeah, this is Pit Crew Sarge. Pretty darn cool. And I mean, it just seems weird looking at him now, knowing what this tool actually is, because I always looked at him and I thought like he, I don't know, had some kind of screwdriver. I really didn't know what he did. But if you remember in the movie, I'll show you in a second, he does actually go up to McQueen's like little gas cap there. So it does make sense. It really does. And it's like, how did I not know that all this time? But I don't know. I guess you would never know if you didn't know, right? But I don't know. So Fillmore, he's the one that supplies McQueen with the fuel. Sarge, he cleans it up. So it is, I mean, actually even more shocking now that the pit stops McQueen had in the first Cars movie were so quick because, I mean, this is a whole extra process. It didn't take Sarge that long, but still. Anyways, I'll show you where he appears at with this catch can in the movie. Obviously, at the Los Angeles International Speedway, when McQueen is there for the tiebreaker race and all the Radiator Springs crew showed up, Sarge can be seen with this cool little tool, and he can be seen, obviously, cleaning up McQueen's fuel. If any spilled out, he was there to kind of clean it up. So that's pretty cool. And it makes perfect sense as to why Sarge had this, because this is a whole nother topic, probably for another day, but I guess we'll talk about it now. Because what does Sarge sell in Radiator Springs? Well, he sells surplus, and that's also something that I just never knew about Sarge. Like, what is surplus? I always had this, I guess idea that it was like some kind of army store, obviously, because he's an army, retired veteran. So it makes sense that he would have this army store. Obviously, it's, it looks like an old hangar, like it looks like an army store. But what does he actually sell? Like, we see him give McQueen some night vision goggles. I guess that's army stuff, right? I don't know. But yeah, I looked it up and I was pretty shocked. Surplus, the definition of the word surplus is excess materials. So I find it very funny because it goes hand in hand with this thing because it cleans up, excess fuel, all the spillage, and then surplus is excess material. So it's funny that Sarge had this. First off, I don't know if he got it from his own store. He probably didn't actually, because even though it would be kind of funny if he did, he probably didn't, because I think like surplus stores only really sell army and like government owned equipment that they can't use anymore. That's what it said online, at least. I didn't know that before. But yeah, I don't know. He probably didn't get it from there, but it would be kind of funny to think about. Anyways, though, let's take a look at this thing now, because this is really the only new part about this Sarge. Everything else is pretty much the same. He just has a slightly new expression. Obviously, first time being made from Thailand, so that's pretty cool. But it's not like they did much. They didn't really have that much work to do with this one. But it is kind of cool because I never done a just basic Sarge Thailand variant review. I do have some, but not opened up. So yeah, pretty cool that we get to kind of do that now too. Kind of get two birds with one stone, as they say. But the eyes are different from just the regular Sarge. They're more like just little humped eyelids, and he's just kind of looking straight, looking kind of like confused. I'm not a big fan of the expression. Like, it's fine. It just doesn't really fit how Sarge looks, in the movie. I wish he was smiling, actually, but they couldn't really do that because, I mean, they could have if they went the extra mile. But then they would have had to change the mouth, and they didn't actually do that. The mouth is the same. All they did was change the eyes, so I guess it makes sense as to why he's not smiling, because, I mean, how do you keep the mouth and try to, like, look at the mouth and try to imagine, a happy face? You can't, because the mouth just doesn't really allow for that. So that's kind of unfortunate because it would have been nice to get a smiling Sarge. Because he's not just this, mean bad guy. Obviously, he's not a bad guy at all. He saves the day in Cars 2 and kind of saves the day with being a pit crew member in Cars 1 too. But yeah, he's not a bad guy. So I don't know why he always has like an angry face. I mean, I do because, he is angry a lot. But there is times when Sarge is smiling. So that's what I'm trying to say. Give Sarge a happy face, Mattel. And they're bringing back him again, a new variant of him. That's going to be the Race and Rescue Sarge. And once again, he will not be smiling. So that's kind of unfortunate. Anyways, here's his star, of course. And then here is his registration numbers. He has the same one on both sides. Let's take a look at that. 984673. Pretty darn cool. And then he does have his little stars and stripe, like army badge thingy there. And then it's cool, the two-tone. It's more, I think, noticeable now, this two-tone, compared to like the one from the old Chinese one. I don't think China did the best job with Sarge before, but they were okay. But yeah, I don't know, the two-tone green, like the metal parts, which are actually plastic on the diecast, but they're supposed to be metal. In the movie, they're metal. Then like this bar here, which is actually the metal part, but in the movie, it's like a tarp. They did a good job, like differentiating it better with the Thailand one, I think, at least. But I don't know, it's just more bright, and I feel like it's more accurate. But honestly, who really knows? I haven't really looked at Sarge since I looked at his little thingy, and I think I put it somewhere else. So yeah, license plate 41 WW2 for World War II, 1941. Then he's got his little tire in the back, little backpack thingy. I like the bevel here. And then the tire treads are very nice too. Pretty darn cool. And then the little green rims. And the base, what does that say? T58. Meaning he was made on the 50th week of 2024, I guess. That's pretty cool. Little red thing though, it didn't really change too much. It looks pretty much identical to how it looked before. I don't have it on hand because I don't have the Chinese one. But I think it looks alright. They did a pretty darn good job with Sarge. We'll compare him to this one a little bit more, but they're pretty much the same. We already kind of did the comparison. Not a huge difference, but doesn't look too bad. I don't know. I think it looks alright. It's a nice new variant, and just good to get some of these older cars that haven't been released in a little while. I have a few other Sarges too, like the Cars 2 version of the Pit Crew Sarge, but obviously he has a headset instead of a catch can. So he's quite a bit different, and the race team stuff. Then the Christmas one doesn't really relate. And then even Sarge with Cannon, who has a similar looking expression. The paint on him is really different though. I don't know why it looks so much darker. Anyways though, I think that'll be it for this video, but thank you guys for watching. Hope they did enjoy. Let me know what you think of Pit Crew Sarge down in the comments below. Are you still calling him Pit Crew Member Sarge, or are you just going to call him Pit Crew Sarge now? I don't know what to call him. I just call him Pit Crew Sarge. But, oh well, either one works. But with all that, I'll see you next time right here on the Cars Garage.